All right, we're going to get this Dodge 6 going. I don't know if it will. I don't know what condition it's in. We'll get the bore scope out and we'll have a look. But all I know is it spins by hand. It's got oil in it. Hopefully we can get this thing to bark off. And if it does, I'll get it running. I promise. So what we'll do is we'll strip it down. We'll get the bore scope out. We'll have a look, see what we're looking at, and we'll make a judgment from there. So will it run? That's the ultimate question. Let's have a look.
So don't just let me get it.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm gon' get it.
Yeah, I'm the one to get it, bruh. I swear to God I'll get it, bruh. Hey, I ain't never giving up. Yeah, I never give up. I got this, man, I got it. I will not quit, I'm on it. Never rock it. Got the block lit, I'm toxic. Spitting logic.
Alright guys, so before we get into this episode, I just want to take this opportunity to sort of reach out to you guys and just ask for a bit of help, you know, just to like, subscribe, share the videos, hit the little bell icon so you can keep up to date with it. It greatly helps me out a bit. We've been falling on tough times lately. That's why some of these episodes sort of come and go real quick. So yeah, invite your friends or show them. Like the channel, subscribe to it. The subscriptions help me out a lot. And hit the little bell icon. So yeah, like, subscribe, and share, and I would be greatly appreciated. Anyways, back onto this episode. I hope you enjoy it. All right, so as you know, I bought the Dodge. I've been in contact with the previous owner, actually. Not the guy I bought it from, but I think he was the second owner. I'm not too sure. I can't quite tell you. But anyways, he's got a ton of spares that are coming for this, so that is mint. Also, this episode, we're going to try and get this to bark off. So we'll pull the plugs. I bought a bore scope. So we will pull all the plugs and see what inside looks like. And then we'll make a judgment from there. I've actually got a single Stromberg from the 202 that we're doing at the same time. And hopefully that'll work on this. So we'll see how we go. So what we'll do is we'll drop the plugs. We'll throw the bore scope in and have a look. After that, we'll drop the oil, see what that looks like, and we'll put some fresh oil in it. We'll try and prime it all, and yeah, put new plugs in and see if we can get this thing to bark. So let's pull these plugs and have a look. Like, I wonder if this will fire off. I've sprayed some penetrant over this thing. So hopefully we should be pretty right. They're very wet. But that penetrant's got all the way through, so we should be pretty good on taking these out. I mean, it looks like it was burning alright, judging by the ends of the plugs. There's not a lot left of the plugs, but it was burning alright. So, sorry about the dogs. Unfortunately, the neighbours don't care, so... Oh, that plug is round. It does not want to come out. Alright, well, let's I'll try and get that out, and then we'll see where we stand. Alright, so I've taken the spark plugs out, but what I've realised is the spark plugs sit directly above the valve. So I'm not going to be able to get the bore scope down there to have a look. But I can spin this motor by hand. So I'm not going to say, like, there's a bit of corrosion in there on top of the valves. but everything spins freely. Nothing's grinding or bounding up. So I'll leave these out for a bit. But what I might do is we'll next move on to draining the oil, and we'll see what that looks like, and then we'll check these oil lines because this is the canister for the oil filter here. So we'll clear these lines. We'll put some compressed air down them and see if they clear up, and yeah, we'll see what comes of them. And then I've got some new oil up there, the coil, and we'll put them on. And then I'll try and make a hand crank. I'm going to try and weld a bit of something off here to hold the crank, and then I can just turn it because I don't have a starter motor for it. I have worked on one. One of the blokes from the Mopar page is going to send me one. So, all right. Next up, we'll drop the oil. We'll see if we can get this thing and see if that'll tell us some tales. All right, let's take this oil out and have a look. Got my trusty 30mm for the sump plug. I've cleaned the tray out so we can see what we get out of this. Hopefully there's no water, but we will soon find out. Makes me nervous. Oh no, there was a little bit of water in the bottom of that. Very black and very lumpy. That water could have been from me cleaning it though. Look at that. Almost looks like diesel oil. But that's alright. That's alright. Doesn't smell too bad. Doesn't smell great, but I mean, doesn't smell too bad. I don't know what the oil capacity of these are. I'll have to look it up. We'll let that sit and drain for a bit. And we'll take this oil filter apart and have a look, see what we end up with in there. I don't know if these are reusable. I'm hoping they are, because trying to find an oil filter for this thing is going to be hard work, but we'll see how we go. Alright, so I sprayed these with some WD-40 to sort of try and clean them up. So 10. So we'll try and find a box spanner to fit. It's not 9 and it's not 10. 10, 10, 10. Oh, that's another 10. 2 10s. It's very big, but the 9 doesn't fit. Or is it just me? No. It'll be 3/8. I'm hoping that being brass, it'll come out easier. Makes me nervous. We're going to have to go over to a spanner. I thought I had a 3/8 spanner in my tray. That got it. Very nice. Let's line it out. Undo this bottom one. Take that out. I'm not quite sure how this assembly comes apart, so if I just take the two lines off, give me plenty of room to clean it up. Alright, I'll put some compressed air down them and we'll see if they're clear. I don't know what this one's for, but I'm guessing it's an oil pressure switch. And we'll clear these out and see where we stand. Alright, so I just put air down the lines. This one here is clear and the bottom is clear, so I'm assuming they come from the pump. This isn't. I'm assuming this rubber hose is swollen. I'm going to clamp that anyways because it doesn't seem to run to anything. This, I'm assuming, is the oil filter. But you can't open it. It doesn't open. So I don't know what the story is on it. Like that, as you can see there, the top is pressed over. So I'll put some air through this, see if it flows. But other than that, we'll plumb it back in line. And yeah, then we'll throw some plugs and oil in it, and we'll throw the coils on and try and get this ignition system wired up. And we'll see how we go. All right, so I got the bore scope. As you can see, we might just slide this up in the up the back of her, and we'll see what we get. Hey, I'll see if I can hold this here for you as well. I try and guide this up. Trying to figure out what we're looking at here. Let's oh yeah, there's a main. That looks all right. That looks like the pickup. There's the mains. And they all look pretty good. Looks pretty clean in there actually. So no major damage or anything. There's a crossover tube. Nice. All right. Well, we might just close that up and put some oil in it, and then we'll start the ignition system. We'll see if we can get this thing to fire up. That looks all right. Very nice. All right, so I got the coil on. Borrowed a lead from the 202 engine. I don't know how good it's going to be. It's probably going to be the Achilles heel of this. This is going to connect to the negative. I'll change that terminal to a spade bit, make it easier. And then I'm just going to hook a charger up to the 12 volt there. And then I'll put the spark plugs in and we'll see if we can get something to spin over. So, yeah. All right, I'll change that terminal. All right, so these are the old plugs out of it, J8s, Champions. So you can see there, they're a bit secondhand. Obviously, been sitting in the engine for a while. So Champion don't make the J8s anymore. Instead, they've got these ones, J6Cs. So you can see it's in a bit better nick. So I'll throw these in, and we'll wire it up. All right. See, it's pretty obvious where the plugs go. I'm thinking about making copper tube ones when I steampunk this engine. So we'll see what happens there, but it doesn't feel like a very good connection, does it? I mean, we are only hoping this thing barks off, so we're not going for horsepower heroes here. Which is probably a weird thing coming from me, but anyways. All right. What I might do is I'll get my spark plug tester and we'll hook that up to power and we will see if we can get some spark out of this thing. I'll try and turn the crank by hand. I don't know if it'll give us enough, but we'll see. We'll try it on cylinder 1. What do I need? Power and a charger now. Unfortunately, this is a smart charger, so it might not work. It might just turn off and have a coronary. We'll see. Good ground. Otherwise, I do have an adapter for my Makita gear. All right, that's yeah. I don't think it's gonna work. No. All right, so it looks like I'm gonna have to try and hook up a battery and see what happens. All right, so I've got my 18 volt hooked up. Everything seems to be all right. There's no fire yet, so I might just take the cap off and we'll check the points. I've got my inline spark plug there. Hopefully this isn't blocked up with too much shit. Which it all actually looks pretty good in there. There's power. Doesn't seem to be doing much though in the way of opening and closing. I do have my test light somewhere over here. We can test this. All right, so it's all jerry rigged. The coil's wired up, Dizzy's wired up, leads are in. I had to clean the points. So I cleaned them up and everything. There's a bird on the roof at the moment. So yeah, I cleaned the points and everything. And now we will just check this spark plug and see if we've got spark on number one. All right, so I got you set up here so you can watch the spark. Oh, she's firing. Can you see that? We've got spark. All right, I'll throw some oil in this bad boy and we'll see. Some oil, I'll mix up some 2 straight to put down the guzzler, and then I've just got to try and figure out a way on how to start this. So, all right, so I got some 20 weight 50 to put in this because, well, it was cheap for starters. I'm only going to change it anyways once it's up and running and everything like that, once I get it properly sorted. So we'll put this in. Slow and steady. Shame the bottle won't sit there. Oh, there we go. And then just for good measure, I'm going to throw some of this oil system cleaner in that I have sitting in the shed. I just know it's sat here for a while, so I figured if I throw some of this in while we're spinning it around and building pressure and that, we can clean it. Can't hurt. So plus I got a ton of this stuff, so All right. Now it's basically just trying to turn this thing over somehow with enough speed. So what I'll do is I'll take that top off and try and build up oil pressure. And then once we've got that, I'll throw some petrol in it and we'll see if we can get this thing to bark off. That's all I want. So we'll see how we go. All right, so I've got it all together. Obviously, we got spark. I've just tried to fill the venturi here. So some of these are still a bit loose, these plugs. But, I mean, we'll see how we go. We'll see if we get something happening. Made a crank. Not very good, but we'll see how we go. So I'll throw a battery on this. I do have the oil line sticking out, so we can see if we do manage to crank it enough to build some oil pressure. I've spun it a few times by hand and everything like that. So we should be ready to go. Put the choke on, give it some choke, see what happens. So there's something. Oh, battery. I need a battery. How much is on this? Plenty. All right, here we go. Let's try this all again. It's either going to go really well or really bad. I don't think I'm going to get the speed out of it. Oh. All right. God, that was hard work already. I might just double check everything, make sure we're getting what we need here. Everything's still on. All right, let's just double check here. Got power. Where's the spark plug tester? I'm pretty sure I put that back. All right. Now we definitely know we were getting spark in cylinder 1. So yep. Yep, so it's still spark. We're getting spark. I've just put fuel down the guzzler. So I'm just trying to figure out. I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna have to spin this quicker though, but I don't think I've got it in me. I've seen videos where they don't take much to fire off. Got battery, got spark, got everything. Oh. Whew. I might have to try and find something to spin this a bit quicker, maybe. All right, leave it with me, and we'll see how we go. But we are this close now, so close. All right, leave it with me. I'll find something. All right, take 2. Got the fuel, got the carb magic. Battery. It's got 3, that'll be enough. All right. Hopefully we can swing this fast enough to get at least a bark. I might actually just move that. All right, you ready? Mm-hmm. Oh, is there anything coming out? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Whew. Just yeah.
Can I hold you?
Yeah. There's nothing on the other side of the coil. Why? Tell me the coil's died. Put this in line and we'll see if we're getting spark. Again. Yeah. Yep. So it is sparking. We are getting spark. All right. So should be firing off. Should be. I might tighten all those connections and we'll see how we go with that. Hey, where's me pliers that I had? Be long gone. Hey.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Probably crimping these too much here. That feels solid. That one doesn't. The coil's getting hot. Like really hot. All right. Oh. All right, we'll give this one last go, and then I'll probably have to wait till the starter turns up. But wondering if it's worth leaving that open.
Once for the day, once for the post.
You got it.
Mm-hmm.
Battery. All right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Oh. Oh. No, I can't. All right, we'll wait till the starter turns up and then try again. It's just too hard for me. Rattle gun breaks the welds on the thing. All right, we'll call it at that.